just the other day we saw something, right?
Yeah.
And that was yesterday and today on some club.
Oh, you're talking about the Facebook club
Yeah, I'm talking about the
thing.
Facebook club thing.
Okay, you give them a rundown. I
Okay,
think
so people went to this club, right? And they were taking pictures of on New Year's Day. You know, the photographer promoting the pictures. People were drunk, like super drunk.
I think it was New
And
Year's or something. 'Cause it
yeah,
was recent.
it was pretty recent. And what happened is, you know, you get people like internet trolls who decided to go onto the app on Instagram on their page.
Yeah.
They took the pictures from the club and they decided to go and create memes out of the people and their photos. So they started picking on people who they thought weren't attractive enough, which I
Yeah,
thought
that
was evil.
sick.
That was sick. That is a sick
I
job.
think like if you pick on somebody's appearance is like the worst thing you can do because they can't change things, and people were making fun of this guy's complexion just because he was dark, and like he made a video about it.
Yeah,
and he said like it's
it.
affecting him in his personal life and his mental health. And I think society now, especially due to the internet, people feel like they can say whatever they want to say and not without any like consequences. It's so easy to pick up your phone and type a message and not think, oh, these are
This is
people.
going to affect somebody in the future and mess them up.
And it happens so often.
Hey.
If you just scroll in on TikTok, YouTube or whatever, and you look at comments, I'm sure you're going to see more than 10 or like thousands of people making fun of somebody just because of like something stupid, because they're not going to think, oh, this person has feelings.
People are sick these days, and that's what causes a lot of these issues that other people go with, you know, that they deal with.
Yeah,
and that's
their
why we're
mental
talking
health.
about this topic today, because
And how would you like define mental health in your own words to like summarize it?
well, for me from my understanding, you know, there's so many broad like terms, or people know about mental health in a different way, or they take it in a different way. For me, it's more like, you know, you get a negative and a positive state of your mental health.
Yeah.
And if you're affected negatively, it can mess you up, like in your job or your home or your relationship or something of the sort. You know, you just don't feel like you're in that right mental state. And if you're in a good state or in a good positive mental state, then, you know, things tend to be smoother for you and you feel better and more relaxed, and
Things
you don't
don't
feel like
bother
you're
you that
losing your
much.
mind. Yeah, so it's a broad thing. It's very broad. Everyone has a different definition to it, but that's just mine. And yours? What do you think mental health is?
Most of our mental health issues stem from trauma, is what I believe.
Like PTSD
Yeah.
or something.
So strong because like we live on this earth for so many years and go through so many things.
Little things end up like stored in a place in our mind, and it makes us like create habits, get insecurities, and get bad habits, and not want to deal with things sometimes.
Yeah.
And we just like deal in a negative way that it ends up only affecting us, for example, like, you know, everybody.
Yeah. No, that's true. I believe that. And, you know, that's past events can always mess you up and continue into the next.
Because it's always
decade
like,
or-
unless it's like a medical condition, but it's always caused by other people and what they say and what they do to you and the actions that they do. Maybe like when you're in school due to bullying, or like people not being very nice to you or not being your friend and stuff like that. It later on affects you, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah, that's completely true. And, you know, talking about something like that, you know, I knew someone that actually faced something like that, where he had an issue at school when we were in school, and he's a teacher, right?
Yeah.
And this issue impacted his mental and physical health to the point where I don't think he knew whether he was coming or going. But he kept on trying to stay positive all the time and trying to feed into that positive bucket that he had there, you know, and I think he's at a way better place now. And it took a lot of effort to just get out of that negative mental state.
Yeah.
So it impacts a lot, you know, it impacts a lot.
So what are some common misconceptions that you think should be corrected about mental health?
Okay, so for me, some common misconceptions that I think should be corrected is the way people deal with it. That's one thing that I think needs to be corrected in our society today. People need to stop keeping things in. They need to let it out. They need to speak to someone. If they're facing issues, they need to at least see speak to a friend, a parent, or even if they're not feeling that, confident to speak to them, at least let it out. Because in some cases, you get people taking it to the extreme when they are unable to deal with the issues that they're facing.
Yeah.
So they end up taking their lives for that. And I think that's like crazy. Like imagine knowing someone who you saw every day, walking around, smiling, clapping, whatever, bringing light into a room. But deep down, you don't know that they had a secret, which was something that was messing them up mentally.
Yeah.
And they just didn't know how to address it, or they didn't know who to speak to. And then after that, you hear that they probably overdosed or took their life
Yeah.
over something, or started doing drugs or something of the sort, But I think taking your life would probably be the worst.
Yeah.
And
that's worst case scenario.
yeah, so that's one thing that I don't know if I can call it a misconception that needs to be corrected. I think it's just something that needs to be corrected.
Like you meant the person that feels that way.
Yeah, they really need to see
I
deeper.
like personally when it comes to things of suicide and like you said, people unaliving themselves. I personally think when people do that, it's like, I don't know how to say, but maybe I'm sounding like too crazy. Not people are gonna agree with me, but I think that the person that is doing it, it's like kind of selfless. They're taking it as I'm removing myself as a burden from the people around me. So they're not always gonna go and talk to the person or talk to their friends. I'm not like dismissing what you're saying. I do agree that people should seek help. There's like plenty platforms, and we'll maybe put some numbers here like for help lines if you need it. But I'm saying like a common thing that happens when it comes to that I personally believe happens is like people don't think what they're doing is gonna hurt somebody. They think that what they're doing is solving the other person's problem.
I think it's solving the other person's problem.
So they're like, I'm not gonna go and tell this person how I feel or how this is impacting me, or I'm feeling like doing this thing, because I'm just gonna add more of a burden on them, on their weight, and they already don't want to do that. So they just think removing themselves from the whole existence, which is sad, because like
sad.
Everybody matters and you matter, and everything passes in life. You'll always get in a better space.
No, definitely. I think you do get into a better space, and that's a problem now, But as you said, there's some people, they don't want to do it because they feel that they're a burden. They put blame onto themselves.